Hello, and thanks for coming along to And We Have an Office Dog, the digital agency podcast where we talk to agency owner-directors and learn more about what makes them tick. From the things that make them similar to the things they'd rather have known sooner, where they've had success and where they've learned some hard lessons. All will be revealed with your host, Chris Simmons, the agency coach, and he'll be talking to a different awesome agency person in each episode, asking them 4 questions and seeing where the conversation takes us over the next 25 minutes. Okay, so let us begin. Over to you, Chris.
Thanks, voiceover guy. And on the podcast today, we've got a special podcast because this is the first one that we've recorded with both founders of an agency. So I'd like to say hello to Duray and to Fabio, the founders of Viaduct Generation. Oh, I've done it wrong, haven't I? What's your brand name?
Viaduct Generation.
There we go.
But the URL is viaductgen.com. See that? I'm plugging away off the back.
I'm on your site. That's why I said Viaduct Gen.
Yeah, we'll use that. Hello,
so,
Chris.
Welcome to the podcast, both of you. So, as with all podcasts, this is just a nice conversation. We're going to be talking about your agency and the things you've learned. But first and foremost, tell us who you are, what your agency does. Tell us a little bit of the history of how that all came together. And we'll see what the hell happens, because this is the first time 2 people have tried to answer questions. Go.
Well, we are Viaduct Generation, an independent SEO agency aiming to represent underrepresented founders. So we are 18 months old now, Duray, if I'm right.
Yeah, about 18 months.
Yeah, we started this back in 2020. Actually, that's when the idea came about. Fun fact, Chris, that we didn't mention to you before. It was we actually had 2 other founders as well.
And did you absorb them in like when you absorb a twin in a pregnancy?
Precisely. So I ate one and Duray ate the other one. It's also 2 guys who grew up with us, and we went to more or less the same school as them. But what happened was they just had different interests in life. They were less SEO lovers and more creative lovers. One ended up being a DJ, and the other ones just went back to arts and cryptos from what I can see on socials. But yeah, all of this came about during the social sort of unrest that was happening in 2020 after the unfortunate murder of George Floyd. And we all sort of just came together and thought about a way to help, underrepresented communities, really. Then a few months later, my previous business partner and I were presenting the idea to Duray because I always loved Duray's opinion. This is all before we launched. We just presented the idea to Duray. We had a slide deck of about 100 slides. Duray gave us really good feedback. And in that moment, something clicked in my mind. I was like, I think I want Duray on my side,
Yeah. And you're living with that mistake for the rest of time now.
Yeah, it's a nice, pleasant mistake, I have to say.
And what's your feeling on that, Duray? How so you weren't there on day 1, but you were there pretty much on day 2 in a sense.
Absolutely. I think I refer to the 2 previous co-founders as almost like the godfathers of Viaduct Generation. They birthed it. They were the brainchild of it. And I think Viaduct Generation had a few different iterations to what it is today. And that's with a lot of businesses, right? We all think we're doing this and we pivot and we change. But yeah, Fabio's put that exactly right. He came to me with a massive slide deck. I gave really honest. I said, all right, gents, I'm going to give you some feedback here. And it was, I think, pretty critical, but I think Fabio was like, that's the kind of critical analysis I want on my side. And I think that's where Fabio and I work quite well, in that yin and yang, right? He will say something I'll say I disagree, and this is why, and vice versa. Seldom are we nodding and going, yeah, we completely agree. Let's definitely do that. It is compromise, and I think we work quite well together in that regard.
Absolutely.
So 18 months, it's not a long time, but in agency world, it is a long time. You've got what, 15 in the team, I think now you said.
Yeah.
In fact, I met them. They're all wonderful people. But in 18 months to get to 15 in the team with a nice repeating recurring revenue, that's not easy. So what's the biggest success that you've had beyond getting to 15 people at that point? What's the biggest success you've seen in the last 18 months?
Right.
I think Brighton SEO, the last one that we went to, was a changing point for us.
Okay.
The previous one, we had 2 people, myself and our head of content, Danny. We went over and we tried to meet a few people, but we ended up at the end of the day being super tired because we're learning so much and we had a few drinks and whatever it is. But this time we rolled deep. We rolled with 10 people. We were all wearing merch. Everyone could spot us. We were at karaoke night, and we produced a lovely video and summaries of Brighton SEO. But I don't think there's a single person that went to Brighton SEO that goes, Viaduct Gen who? Like, people know who we are now.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting. And I think that is just a really good reflection of the hard work that everyone's in to getting VG to where it is today.
So in that sense, then, a big success was bringing the team together in one place, or bringing that. I remember when I took all my team to Brighton a few times and a few other events, it felt pretty good because you've got your tribe with you and it's quite cool, but other people notice it, right? And I know how difficult it is to hire in this industry at the minute. And you said to me the other day, in particular, you said this was a really good event because people were actually coming up to you and asking, "Got any jobs?"
Yeah, I think that's what culture does, right? Like, if you can create an environment that looks attractive, but actually also when they drill down and they see that the policies that we have in place, in that we know SEO is just SEO. At the end of the day, yes, it's really important, and we do a lot for our clients, and because why we do what we do is so important. But I think, like, we have a really strong policy on putting purpose over profit. And why we do what we do is so integral, and that needs to reflect in our tribe as well. So we make sure we have a lot of policies to support mental health. We have duvet days if someone is mentally ill. We have menstrual health days to support the females in our organization. We operate on a really flexible start time. We try and make things that are really gonna people will go to work and be like, yeah, I feel fulfilled. I feel like I'm making a difference, and I'm not mentally burnt out because I'm ranking on position 8 rather than position 3. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I think having the right mix there is important, and you don't have to follow the list of all of the other benefits in order to have that. You've got to hire the right people with the right values first and foremost, because then when there is a bad day, everyone kind of knows you can trust each other with oh shit, I've had a really bad day today, and someone will back you up or take on some work for you or do something to help you. And if you hire with values first and purpose in mind, then you're going to have a good bunch of people. The trouble is maintaining that kind of cohesion and clarity at a larger scale. Get to 30 people, and you really need to make sure that you're hiring based on values. Hire on values, train them up to the processes, and keep at it, keep clarity, keep that vision really, really clear with people.
Yeah.
So if you could go back then, I want both of you to answer this individually. So if you could go back, Fabio, 18 months, say 2 years, you go back 2 years and you sitting there thinking about starting the agency off, and the Fabio from now pops in to the past and says, "Hey, Fabio, it's me, Fabio. I've got some advice for you." What advice would that be?
2 years ago, get Duray on the team quicker. Come on, just because he's here. It's actually not. It's almost like I'm a dreamer, right? I'm someone that has got very big ambitions for the business, for myself personally, in my own personal life. What Duray did was not only help me with like almost carry the idea forward. It was almost like he forced us to come out of the ideation stage and go into the action stage, you know? So, and that, the speed in which he helped us get to that, I wish we could have done it a little bit sooner, because right now I think we'd be looking at a much bigger organization, really, you know? So if we're talking about 2 years ago and not 18 months ago, I would say that is the fact that we actually did spend a lot of months. We're talking from April, May, all the way till January, sort of ideating everything and trying to cover every single angle of everything. Oh, our marketing needs to look like this. Our culture needs to look like this. Our ideal clients need to be this. Everything to the T we had planned, and it was almost like, why didn't we just go out and get businesses instantly, you know, when we had that expertise ready?
You know, so they say like done is better than perfect in terms of just getting something done.
Facts.
I edited that ever so slightly, and I say done is better than perfect, but done better be bloody good.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna start, you don't go to the nth degree planning, because no strategy survives first contact with the enemy. You know, the second you go live, it's going to have to change.
It's true.
But you do need to plan something to have something to work with.
Absolutely.
But done is better than perfect. And that seems to be what, getting Duray in has helped with. So now, Duray, if you can let your ego aside after hearing that lovely bit of feedback, what would you do going back in time?
Yeah, I'm gonna fall off my chair, Fabio. That's very kind of you. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I think one thing that I would do differently myself, I would 2 years ago, I would have probably, I think, gone all in from the outset. Like I was studying this, I was studying university while starting Viaduct Generation. I was working a part-time job as well. So Viaduct Generation, as Fabio says, we pushed into from almost a hobby and a good slide deck and a good idea into actually execution. Hey guys, we're losing £4,000 a month, by the way, because we don't have clients, like whatever it is, right? So I think it would have been probably like go all in, do what you can to do to put the next 6 months aside, whether it would have been pause my degree or don't know what, but looking at what we've built here, it is really something that I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm really happy. I love coming into work. I love working with great people, and I just wish we could have done it with more velocity from the start.
Yeah. So in a sense, you wanted a lot. You would give yourself advice to go hard, go, and Fabio would have given himself the advice of bring you in sooner so that you could go hard and go, which sounds brilliant.
Yeah, I guess so, right? Like I think maybe that's an easy answer to just say, oh, I would have gone quicker, gone faster. Reality is you don't know that. Reality is you don't know what's behind the corner. But reflecting back, and it could have been different if we had gone that, maybe things wouldn't have panned out as well as they are now. But looking at the way things are going, I'm delighted, and I'm really proud to be part of this amazing company. So yeah, I would have said go full all in, all chips on the table, and make it happen sooner than you think. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hindsight's brilliant, isn't it, when you look at it like that, and and you can say, it looks really good now, and it could have been better if we'd have done and we'd have tried and we'd have this and that. But this is the beauty of agency, isn't it? That you now know that. So when an opportunity presents itself in the future, the lesson you've learned should mean that you take your own sort of a hindsight advice and go, right, okay, guys, we're now going to offer this, or we're going to do that, or we want to scale to double the size. Let's do it in this way and go.
We've got to be bold.
Yeah.
You have to, because if we can't do it, who else? Right? Now, Fabio and I and the team and the people that are the tribe that make up Viaduct Generation, we now have full confidence that we can execute on everything. We can go out and bloody to the moon, right? Like, let's do it.
Yes.
But before, me and Fabio working on our beds, we were like, with like a couple of thousands in the bank account of our own personal savings, like that was it. So we were trying to like, okay, can we afford this £200, £300 investment? And now it's like, well, let's go. Like, let's try it. Let's fail. Let's move forward. Let's learn from it. But now we are unapologetically bold.
Yeah.
But I think we could have been bolder and braver from the outset.
Absolutely, and I think it's a it's really hard these days with digital agencies in particular, because realistically it's a formula business, isn't it? People go in, clients go in, deliverables come out. There is only a certain amount of what good looks like, and the majority of clients don't know what that is either. So to be bold, that really has to be something that is mostly about branding, in a sense, because the client's not going to know the difference between you and another agency beyond branding, beyond results. And you can get all of the awards that you want, and you can get all of the case studies and things like that. That's great. It's really gonna bolster you. But being everywhere all the time and having that surface area covered from a branding and a marketing point of view, that's where you're going to get that push, that drive, and that's going to take money and time and effort. And if you really want to grow with people, or you want to grow with revenue or whatever, you've got to be bold, like you say, focus on it, push and push. It's quite important, I think, to kind of reconcile that, because I used to do it when I was running the agencies. I used to look on Twitter or LinkedIn and see this agency, look, there's 50 of them and they've just won another award and there's this and there's that, and you think, why aren't I doing that? And then you start thinking, well, actually, that's not why I'm here. It's not what I'm for. My measure of success is something slightly different, or I want to grow to this, which requires 50 people, but 50 people isn't the measure of success. Those people posting that, their measure of success may not be 50 people and multiple awards, but to get the biggest clients with the biggest revenue, they need 50 people delivering this amount of services, and they need the awards. It's just a byproduct of that, of being out there to prove that you've got that. So trying to look at it objectively is quite hard.
It is.
So if in the last 18 months, there's been a lot of success. There's been a lot of very, very quick growth as well. Is there something that you kind of regret doing, that you, if with hindsight, would never have done, or kind of wish you hadn't done in the way you'd done it?
Yeah. There are a few things. Absolutely. I'll give you a couple of examples. Mm-hmm. At the start, we were very much we signed a contract. I'm not going to mention names, but we signed a contract with a well-known SEO platform, which sort of, and that we did that like prior to having clients, because we felt like we needed to have like something backing our services when speaking to future clients or when doing research to approach prospects. However, we had no clients, right? And we invoices were coming. I do believe that was a little bit of a stressful position to put us in from the very start. But perhaps he also did add that element of, we have to go out and get clients, otherwise we can't pay this and we are in trouble. Yeah,
it lit a fire that can only be satisfied by clients.
Exactly.
Yeah, the fear of cash flow is stark early doors, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it's tough. It's terrifying to sort of see the cash going out but not being at least topped back up. Yeah. But you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. All the other turns of phrase, you can't grow without spending, and you can't get clients without something in the background that is either driving you or is part of your tool set. Yeah. So the lesson you learned from that is what's the kind of key thing that you took away from that?
I would say, don't commit to a contract if you can't afford to pay it for the 12 months that you signed for it.
There you go, guys. There's the advice. Everyone on the internet, everyone in the world needs to have heard that advice.
Honestly, it was a stressful situation, but hey, we managed to come out nicely, and now we are one of their biggest clients. So things have changed.
That's good.
And then just one more thing. at the very start, we had a clear mission and we had a clear understanding of the sort of clients that we should have gone for. Because we needed that cash to pay for these bills that we're talking about. Our first ever client was someone that was so far away from who we now would have as a client that it's and that sort of client only lasted with us 2 months, and as a matter of fact is one of the only clients that has that left us from the time that we've been an agency. So that is another thing I would change, is we perhaps could have been a little bit more patient on that one, because yes, he helped for 2 months, but after 2 months they cancelled, and it was sad, because I don't know, I've got a big ego. I feel like most SEOs do have a big ego, most agencies as well. So I don't really like the word cancellation. But unfortunately on that one, I do have to admit that the client did cancel, and it was because we weren't aligned in anyways. You know, after 3 weeks, he was calling Duray's phone 10 times a day. Oh, why am I not seeing more traffic on my site? You know, there was, we weren't aligned at all. So yeah, that's another one. If it doesn't make sense for your agency, don't take them on just because of the money.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about you, Duray? Is there something that you kind of regret having done, or wish you'd have done sooner, or something like that?
I'm a bit of a romantist. I'm a lover at heart. I wrote my dissertation, like, what's that dissertation you do in A levels? Like the something project.
I never showed up.
I think it's called extended project, right? Where you have to write like a little dissertation. I did it on like love. Is it like a box of emotions, whatever, right? I'm a lover, not a fighter. But Valentine's Day came around this year, and I was like, wow. This is such a great opportunity for us to be creative and to showcase that we're a little bit different. And I have an amazing writer in my team. Her name's Harriet. Okay. She put together this amazing poem. That was perfect. And we thought, you know what? We'll be different because we're an SEO agency, and we'll do it via like a direct mail campaign. So we found 5,000 businesses. We found the right people to speak to. And we sent them this poem, which was, what was it, Fabio? It was like, roses are red, violets are blue.
What about a free website review?
Yeah, how about a free website? We're not great at poetry. How about a free website review? I've butchered that. Sorry, Harriet. It was brilliant. And it had a QR code that people could scan and then go to our landing page.
Yep.
We sent this out to 4,000 businesses, including postage, including data and everything else. It came to approximately a £5,000 investment.
Okay.
We got one lead. The data was so bad, it ended up like not even arriving. Only like 30 people scanned the QR code, and it was the most expensive marketing campaign we've ever run. And it was based on me being like, I've got this great idea, let's do it. Not leaving it to my head of marketing and my marketing apprentices and marketing execs going, hey guys, what do you think about this? How does this fit into your marketing calendar? I was like, no, Valentine's Day is in 2 weeks. Let's do it now.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was an expensive mistake.
I can see that. I think the lesson there is know your lane and stick in your lane. And jokes aside, it's a lot of money to spend to get essentially nothing in return. But it's not necessarily nothing in return. You never know. There's brand building. There's all sorts of things that come from it, especially internally lessons. And the lessons, like I always say, that running an agency is the most expensive MBA you'll ever have. Like all the lessons you make are expensive. They're either jobs that have to go, or clients that have to go, or nice fancy things in the office that have to go. You just can't do it all. So making mistakes is expensive, but it's worth it in a sense. You'll never do that again, I hope.
Valentine's Day this year or next year coming, I will leave to the marketing team, and I will call and speak to the people who scan the QR code. But that's me from the marketing side. As you say, I'm going to stay in my sales lane.
Yep, that's wise. So if people are listening to this podcast right now and they're thinking of starting an agency and they're wanting to they're either at an agency and they're thinking of starting themselves, or they've just started, they're a couple of months in, what one piece of advice would you give them? I'll go to Duray first.
One piece of advice for someone starting an agency today.
Yeah. Assuming they've asked you for advice, you're not just unsolicited sending them a letter in the post with a QR code that says, here's the advice.
I would say drill down in a niche that you understand. So particularly great if it's a niche that is due to explode, whether it's crypto or Web3, or it's a particular aspect that you have some experience in. Drill down into that so that you are able to speak the customer language, and fail fast. Go for build something up that is like an MVP, like just what you need to get your clients through the door. So just build up a little bit of traction and nail that one industry. Like go through it all. Pick your top 20 keywords that these clients would love to target, and call everyone from page 3 to page 10, and just get an understanding of if this is something that you can truly do. I think there's a few ways in which you can do it. I think some people take the freelancer to agency route. Once they get too busy, then they become an agency. We chose to just go straight into agency and fail fast a bit. But if I was to start again, I would say pick an agent, pick a niche, drill down into it so that you can speak the customer language, and go out and speak to everyone and get 100 no's. Because after 2-3 months of doing that, you'll have a pretty good understanding if this is something that you can do forever.
Yep, it was fantastic advice. It really is. I think the two parts of that, 3 parts, I suppose, are just get on with it. In a sense, get on with it and do it fast so that the mistakes are less painful, but you can keep going at a pace. Then you've got in there, pick a niche because you'll understand it and the people that you work with will understand it. And it's a repeating theme in quite a lot of the recordings that I've been doing, where people have said pick a niche, or whether it be a niche in terms of a deliverable, like just technical SEO, or a niche in terms of an industry niche, like whatever it might be. Whatever that niche is, whether it's deliverable or industry, makes you the experts in it, because that's all you live and breathe. And one thing which, when I'm working with any agencies and they're always like, oh, we're just not getting enough leads in, or we can convert every lead, but we're not getting enough in. Go out there, like you say, page 3 to 10, etc. Call everyone up, and there's 100 calls in 20 days. Just literally do these calls, smash them through every single day. 5 calls, 10 calls, 15 calls, keep going. And every time the phone gets put down, you know that's a lesson. You change the way you open the next call. Then when you get a no, and it's a hard no, or when you're getting the commitment or when you're not getting the commitment, and you know whether that's a niche. Within 20 days, you know if the niche is worth it or not.
Absolutely. Yep. Nailed.
Yeah. And what about you, Fabio? What's your one piece of advice for someone who's struggled all the way through this podcast to listen to us?
And I like Duray's advice, because it's very much like SEO focused, let's say, almost more from the business side of things. I would say be consistent, and be resilient, like it's there will be tough times, like we've had tough times, we've cried together, we've laughed together, we've bled together almost.
Like it's really tough in that agency, It's only been 18 months.
Okay, we haven't bled yet, but we've certainly cried together. It's the consistency is so important. It's very important. And if you do decide to do it alongside a business partner, just ensure that you do it with someone that you fully trust, someone that that if you're having a tough day, they're picking up the phone themselves and doing the calls that Duray was just talking about. I would say be consistent, honestly, like be consistent in the way you service your clients, be consistent in the way you go out and kickstart your days for the agency. Be consistent in your approach. Honestly, for us, consistency, I think it has been the biggest key for us. We've been consistent in in the hunger. We've been consistent in the way we service clients, as I was just saying. We've been consistent with our team and the values we present. We've been consistent with our partners and the charities that we serve. So I think consistency is key for any agency, I would say, but especially for business in general. So yeah, I would say that the piece of advice is consistency.
Yeah. So if you start something, keep doing it, unless you know it's definitely not the thing to do, and then change it. But being consistent, I think consistency follows in terms of the values and the purpose as well. So you can change niche a bit, you can change a few aspects of how you do the deliverables a bit. You can fail fast in that regard, but sticking to the reason why you get out of bed in the morning, why you started the agency off, is key. And then consistency as you grow is essential.
Absolutely.
So quick fire question for you, Fabio. Best thing about Duray as a business partner?
There's a few.
Go on, just one. Pick.
Confidence.
Duray, best thing about Fabio as a business partner?
He is one of the most ambitious people I've ever met.
Brilliant. Fabio, worst thing about Duray as a business partner?
He's too strict sometimes.
Oh, that's the South African in him. Duray, back to you. Worst thing about Fabio as a business partner?
He's really bad at taking pictures of receipts.
And there's the strictness. Yep. Okay.
He's not wrong.
I can see which one of you two are the visionary and which one of you two are the implementer when it comes to the business.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So, I mean, that's a fantastic way to end the podcast. So thanks very much for coming along, both of you. It's been really good to have you.
Thank you for having us. Honestly, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. Really appreciate it. Look forward to working with you in the future.
Yeah, awesome. And in our next podcast, we'll have a different agency leader hearing about the things they've learned and some of the lessons that they've taken from it. Thanks very much for listening.